All right, I know I answer this question a lot, but it's only because I get this question a lot more than I answer. People wonder how I afford to be a full-time traveler. And there might be speculation that I come from wealth, that I have a rich family who funds my travels, that I have a huge savings account. These are all false things. I work Monday through Friday, just like you do when you're at home. The only difference is that I work online and I still pay rent. It's a lot more attainable than you probably think. I feel like there's a big misconception that the only way to be a full-time traveler is if you're rich. I'm not rich, and if you're not rich, it doesn't mean that you can't live this way either. Since this is a new channel, I thought it'd be a good idea to just give y'all a little background on who I am, what I do, how I got here. Okay, so I've been living a full-time travel lifestyle going on 4 years. Prior to my full-time traveling experience, I had 0 out-of-country experience. I also do not come from a family of travelers. All of this was very new to me at the start. We're out of coffee. How is this happening? Damn. Okay, I'm gonna have to make a trip for some coffee. All right, now I can make coffee. When I first started traveling, I had not traveled out of the country prior to it. Yes, I had been to Mexico, but I'm originally from El Paso, Texas, which is a border city right next to Juarez. And in high school, we crossed the border and went to bars in Juarez. So I don't really consider that like a traveling experience, like going to Mexico, because for me it was like my backyard. So aside from that, I had not been a traveler. One day I was working at an agency, and actually one of the project managers on one of our calls asked why we weren't traveling the world since we can work remote. Mind you, this was back in 2016 or 17, I can't remember exactly, but it was like such a foreign concept to me, and I just thought like, wow, that's actually a really good idea. Why don't I do something like that? Okay, I had to stop recording because they were doing construction and it was just way too loud, and I tried to wait a couple of days, but they're still doing a little bit of construction, so let's just try our best to ignore it together, okay? Okay, so where was I? I thought it was a really interesting concept, and I didn't know a lot of people that were doing it already. So it was really new and interesting, and I didn't really know if it was attainable for me. So I started looking up some programs, and we all know how the phones listen to our conversations, right? Well, maybe a week later, I started getting ads on Instagram, on Facebook, just all over the place. I was getting ads for travel programs, and that's how I found Remote Year. Now, there's a lot of interesting things about Remote Year, along with a lot of other travel programs that do kind of the same thing. Mind you, Remote Year is probably the most expensive one, but right now, 2022, there's a lot of programs that are doing pretty much the same thing at a much affordable cost, and they offer different types of programs. I'm gonna get deeper into all the different programs a little bit later, but first I wanna talk about the things that were stopping me at the time. All these thoughts and questions and concerns that I had. At the time, I had a house, I had a car, a bunch of clothes, furniture, just an endless amount of things that I was like, what do I do with all of my stuff? So first of all, get rid of your things. Just outright get rid of them. You can sell them, give them away, give them to your friends and family. That's the route that I went. I sold my Jeep, and I was really sad about that because I actually really loved that Jeep. But the good thing is I sold it to my dad.
This used to be ALEAH's Jeep.
It actually stayed in the family, and I felt really good about it. It's a good chunk of change that you can use for your travel. It's like you're basically pulling money out of your old lifestyle and putting it into your new lifestyle. So that's something that I definitely recommend, and there's no sense in holding on to it because you're gonna be gone. You're not gonna use it as much as you have been using it. And I know it's a really hard concept to wrap your head around, but you don't need all of this stuff. The next thing was all of my clothes. The clothing I wasn't so sad about as much as my shoes. I used to have a bunch of shoes. I gave the good ones, like the ones that I just really loved so much, they had sentimental value to me. I gave a lot of those to my friends and my sisters. I have 3 sisters. Everything else that I couldn't take with me, I actually put in a huge bin in my mom's attic. Lean on your family and friends if it's possible, and ask them if you could store some things in their basements or attics. Okay, another thing that I was constantly thinking about is my phone, my service. You know, what do I end my service? What do I do? So let me tell you what I did. I did end my service, I ended my contract, and what I do currently, and it's kind of a pain sometimes, I buy SIM cards in every country that I go to. So every time I get to a new country, one of my first stops while I'm there is to go and find a phone store and go buy a new SIM card. Then I have WhatsApp, which I communicate with everyone on WhatsApp. So after I figured all of those first steps out, I broke the news to my family, and then I had a big farewell party. Because deep in my heart, I knew that I would not be going back to my old lifestyle. It was like as soon as I figured out the how, it changed the way I was thinking about my life. It actually makes me like emotional thinking about it because I remember the feeling that I had, the excitement that I had, and I broke it to my family, and I just knew right then and there that I would never be going back to the old way that I was living, at least not in the foreseeable future. Maybe one day all of this will change, and you know, I will want to like settle down and buy a house and go back to living that way, but I think it'll always look a little bit different than the way that I was living originally. When I was at the airport waiting for my flight,
I'm really nervous. It was a tearful send-off, you know, but I'm really excited.
I was having so many thoughts. Am I gonna regret this? What the hell am I doing? I've never done this before. Is this a big waste of time? Am I gonna ruin my life? Like, I had all these thoughts like that because it was such a different concept and it was so new for me. I was walking into the unknown. But after I joined Remote Year, a lot of them were kind of feeling the same way, which in a weird way gave me a lot of comfort because we're taking a leap of faith into this lifestyle that none of us know how we're gonna end up. And all of this was right before COVID happened, and I feel really lucky that I was able to experience that pre-COVID. We can still do it today, and I'm still doing it now. It just looks a little bit different. So I set off on Remote Year. I joined the 1-year program where we moved to a new country every month. If you're new to traveling, and you just don't even know where to start, and you already have your setup online, you have your income, I would recommend joining a group like that just to get your feet wet. It's good, it's training wheels, and they do everything for you, and you understand how to live like this.
Jumping off a cliff.
I am in love with this lifestyle. It's the happiest I've ever been. Don't get me wrong, there are still a lot of challenges that come with living like this. For one, this is a challenge I think a lot of mostly women would probably have, but like, I can't find products that I like. And you know how it is, girls. Like, you find a product you like and you're gonna keep purchasing that product. And I'm talking about like hair and skin products. There are certain brands that I like to use, like in the States. So like this Native, I love this deodorant. Another product that I use a lot is this 𝐦𝐨𝐬 dry shampoo. Right now we're in Peru and there's no Amazon here. So when I'm in other countries, like for example, Mexico, at least they have Amazon, so I can just order products online and have them delivered. There are ethical brands that I love and I support and I want to buy their product. And yes, there are malls. I don't usually stay in places that are so remote that there's not a mall. Like everywhere I live, there's a mall, guys. Here in Lima, there are a lot of malls, but they actually don't have the stores that I like. So I'm coming to this mall in particular. First, because they have a Zara, which I'm so happy. I need an upgrade on a couple of things, and then I'm gonna take a little browse around and see what other stores they have. Okay, so this is for sure the mall you should come to if you're looking for brands that are familiar for you if you're American. Hopefully I can find a bunch of goodies. It's just not the same. Yeah, there's little challenges, obviously missing my family, but once you start to build a little routine, you kind of figure out a good rhythm and a good balance to have. And I think that's what a lot of digital nomads end up doing. And maybe that means going to stay with your family for the summer, or maybe that means going every Christmas, every year, or maybe it means seeing them 3 times a year. You know, like there's no right way to do it. It's just how you want to do it, and there's a lot of different options. If you have any questions, just let me know in the comments and then I'll add it to my list of things to talk about. But if you like this video, please give me a like and maybe share it with somebody who is considering this type of lifestyle or who would enjoy it. I could really use the support. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!